How many of you find yourself looking down as you're walking down the street? I know I do. Most people do. But not everyone is looking at the same thing. Some people look at the floor ahead of their feet. Some people look at the cracks in the sidewalk. Myself in particular, I look at my shoes because I know what I'm looking at. And for the most part, I like what I'm looking at. But the question is, do you like what you're looking at? Hopefully by the end of this talk, I'll have changed your perception as what you think as you look at your shoes. My name is Luis Rios, and I'd like to talk about what goes into making a good quality pair of shoes. For the most part, there's going to be three main aspects that go into a quality pair of shoes. That would be the leather quality of the shoe, the construction of the shoe, and the brand and its pedigree. Let's talk about, first off, what you look at, which in this case would be the upper of the shoe, which in this talk is going to be leather. Dave Munson from Saddleback Leathers has put out this diagram that concisely puts the types of leathers that an animal hide can yield. For the most part, when you're going to buy a good quality pair of shoes, you're going to want a full grain leather, which is at the top of the spectrum. Although most shoes sub $200 you'll find are top grain and lower. At the very highest you'll find top grain. One of the aspects that Mr. Munson touched on as well was the tanning practices done by the tanneries that work with the leathers. So before being tanned, the leathers are treated and they're in a blue state, after which they are tanned. Saddleback Leathers does a very good job about tanning them long enough to where the entire leather is tanned through, whereas some tanneries don't put in as much time and only get the top and bottom surfaces of the leather tanned, with the middle still retaining its blue hue. While Saddleback Leathers is a bag company, these concepts can be put into play with shoes. Because say you scratch your shoes, any imperfection beneath the surface will come out and show itself, which is not what you'd want if you were spending more than say $300–400 on a pair of shoes. Now, for your shoe to look better for a longer amount of time, you have to look into how the shoe is constructed. For the most part, if a shoe is going to be under $200, you'll find it to be adhesively bound, the uppers to the sole. I'd like to talk about two different methods that are vastly superior to adhesive bonding. The first of which is called the Bologna construction, or more commonly known, it's the Blake stitch construction. So whereas with adhesive bonding, the upper is molded onto itself and then just glued onto the insole and sole, the important part here is that the upper and the lining is stitched directly onto the sole. This allows it to be resoled, though with the Blake stitch, as the upper of the leather is compromised due to the stitch, it can not be waterproof, which is where the Goodyear construction comes in, the Goodyear welt. So in this case, the upper and the lining, if there is a lining, are stitched onto the welt, which is then stitched onto the sole, which allows the shoe to be resoled time and time again with no effect on the integrity of the upper. This is a depiction of what a Goodyear welted shoe looks like when it's cut to display its layers. So beyond the leather and the construction of the shoe, there is the brand. Most people stray away from buying expensive pairs of shoes because of the fact that they're expensive. but they're looking at the wrong brands. So when you're looking at shoes, you want a historically successful brand of shoes. Say Crockett & Jones. It's an English brand. Recently, it's had a resurgence in popularity due to the fact that the shoes from the brand have featured in the newest editions of James Bond. The factory in Northampton, they've been around for over 125 years. So you have that history to back up the brand. Although there is a number of brands in Europe, notably in Spain, a lot smaller, not so old, but they're family run. So you know that they're putting out quality products time and time again. I'd like to end this talk by showing first-hand examples as to how these thoughts come into play. This was a shoe I purchased 3 years ago. Before I knew very much about shoes. I thought they were a sharp-looking pair of shoes. Though the leather has not worn in well at all. The sole is just about worn through. There is a hole here, actually. And to put this into perspective, this was 3 years and they're just about wrecked. Whereas this is a pair of shoes that I've had for half a year, though it hardly looks like they've been worn through at all. Hopefully what I've said today will clear up any thoughts you've had on what you think about when you think about shoes. Thank you.